Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome to the 6th episode of Notes for Next Time. Thank you so much for tuning in. How are you guys doing today?
Splendid.
Doing very well.
Yeah. As you can see, we have a new backdrop. And we're also working on improving our
It
audio.
was so easy to install. Went
Yeah.
up like that.
Yeah, it took Mike Mike and I like 12 hours to get 2 wooden
Yeah,
panels.
from saying, "Hey man, how's your
I
day
helped.
going?" to being done.
Yes, you did. Yeah, it was quite the trek, but we're also working on our video and always trying to improve audio as well. So
Heck yeah.
we're Ryzen, as they say, just like the multi-core processors that AMD makes.
That's an Intel though.
That went.
That's why I did it. I was like, let's do a deep.
I thought you were gonna make a Skywalker joke.
I know,
You
I was
just went
like-
straight like
Yeah.
I went straight into CPUs.
Nerd. What are we doing today?
For the
Today-
record, that laptop is an Intel though.
Today we're doing top 5 films of 2019, and then we're doing our most anticipated films of 2020.
Booyaka.
Yeah, and we all have formulated our lists.
Yep.
Taylor, you are not talking about your top 5 films of all time.
No,
we have
no,
clarified.
This is 2019 only.
That's right.
Cool, because we don't have time to talk about The Godfather.
I did see The Godfather
In
at least
2019?
once in 2019.
Oh, I thought you were going to say I saw it specifically for.
I reviewed all of the movies from my list. It took me days to put this together.
that would be time well spent. They were all good movies.
Yeah, and some of which got nominated for Oscars. I'm sure some of which we will be talking about.
Definitely.
That came out this morning, I think. Best actors: Jonathan Pryce, Adam Driver, Antonio Banderas, Joaquin Phoenix, and Leo DiCaprio.
For
Once Upon a Time. Best Picture: 1917. Pretty good movie. We just saw it earlier.
We have a review if you want to
We
check
have a
it out.
review if you want to check that out.
Thanks for echoing what I
Thanks
just
for
said.
echoing for everything I said.
Pour my coffee over here. It's cold now. We'll just make a mess.
Yeah, pretty interesting. Best actress, we got Charlize Theron for Bombshell, Renee Zellweger for
I wanna see
Judy.
that too.
Yeah, Bombshell looks pretty good.
I've noticed that I haven't watched any movies in 2019 when I was making my list.
Yeah, it kind of made me sad.
I went through like all of the releases in the year, and I was like, I wanted to see that, and I didn't, and I wanted
Yeah.
to see
There
that.
were a
and I
lot of
didn't.
movies I want to see
Yeah.
and
I-
will see, just not right now.
Yeah, I remember I had a thought. I think Endgame was the first like big thing I saw this year,
Yeah.
and that was in May. So I was like, I remember seeing Endgame and being like, man, I'm just either not going to the theater like I used to, or there's just not that much to draw me in.
Hey man, life.
There wasn't a whole lot out this year. Like there was, but like nothing that really came to mind. That's like, wow, I got to get to the theater and see that.
No.
Yeah, I don't know. Some people are saying that was kind of like a off year for games, with the exception of a couple.
Movies.
No, I was trying to make the comparison that it might have
Okay.
been the same for movies, but
Gotcha.
Yeah.
we got all of our Oscar bait towards the end of the year, and
Pretty
funny enough, the fall is when all of my favorite movies came out, pretty much. So
my favorite seasons.
yeah. Oh no. So gonna be thinking about that the entire time now.
Good. I hope that sticks with you for the next 3 days.
I'm going home.
No, stop.
So
How do we want to do this?
I don't know.
How we did it for our rankings?
Yeah, did you think that was a good, efficient way to do it? Yeah. Because, I mean, we're all going to be talking about drastically different movies, too, so probably.
Mine's not in
Maybe.
any. Mine's not in any specific order.
Yeah.
That's okay.
So yeah, that's fine. We can just go one by one.
Yeah, Mike, do you want to share with us your 5th favorite movie of 2019?
I have an honorable mention. It's not actually a movie, but hey, man. You season 2.
Overachiever.
It's shut up. You tried to bring The Godfather into this. Yeah, no, that show just kind of has, obviously it's immensely popular right now. And I just keep thinking, as I was watching it with Marissa, and then I actually enjoyed it so much, I went back and watched season 1 again in a day because it's super easy to binge watch. And it's just, the writing and the characters, it's like almost, it's like too good for its own, like what it's supposed to be. Because it was made as a Lifetime like series, and then Netflix just kind of snatched it up. But yeah, man, it's just super enjoyable. It's not like, I can't even, like, I legitimately can recommend it. Like, it's not like, I watch Riverdale, and that's for sure, like, a guilty pleasure, like, by no means a good TV show, but it's just, like, fun to watch. But You is, like, legitimately really fun TV. So that was a little, not a movie, but I wanted to throw it in there because the movies on this list are kind of in the beginning. But my number 5 spot, if I recall, I put Spider-Man Far From Home.
Oh, yeah. It came out this year.
Yeah. It's a fun Marvel movie. It did some really, really cool stuff. There were some sequences that I legitimately enjoyed.
Yeah.
And it was a good time. And I like Tom Holland's Spider-Man. I like most of the characters. And yeah, it wasn't amazing, but it was definitely...
Went for like a unique tone with like the whole road trip, school trip thing, and then, or the study abroad thing or whatever they were doing. And then it had the Mysterio sequences, which were really cool.
Yeah, Jake Gyllenhaal was really cool in it. I imagine we'll probably do spoilers throughout this
of course.
podcast.
Yeah,
so
if you haven't seen any of the films that we're going to be bringing up,
just scream until...
Scream for a constant, like...
Until, yeah.
Until we're done.
And then it's just into...
Right.
Sorry.
But yeah, fun movie. I enjoyed it. Takes a 5 spot.
Yeah.
Because, again, I have not seen any of the really good movies, apparently, that came out.
I mean,
this year.
there's... Yeah.
Do you want to go, Taylor?
Sure. My number 5, and it's...
You guys going to have the same list again?
No.
There's no way. No conceivable way.
My number 5 spot is Toy Story 4.
Dude, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Mine's not. I'm sorry.
That's fine. That's fine. I didn't see a ton of movies this year, so I kind of had to stretch for this one.
Mm-hmm.
None of the Toy Story sequels past 2 are like really, really good. The one thing I did like about Toy Story 4 is it takes a little bit of a different tone. It's a little bit more of a sadder movie. Yeah.
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen 3 either. So
I loved 3.
yeah,
it's one that you can relate, going to see it like as an adult, because Toy Story, like I grew up with stuff like that. Going to see it as an adult, there's a lot of more mature like undertones to it that like really makes you appreciate it, kind of like as like taking a look at like how life is.
Did you like Forky?
Yeah, I'm trash.
Is that what he says?
Yes.
Okay, you're not calling yourself trash.
Yeah, I'm not calling
Okay.
myself trash.
I haven't seen the movie either.
Yeah. It's good. I wasn't a big fan of Forky as a character, but I mean, it is what it is. Overall, I mean, it was a decent movie. Like I said, this was kind of a stretch just to get a 5th one on there. The other 4 that I have, I thought were really good, but yeah.
Yeah, Toy Story 4 is one that I really wanted to see, and I think it's available to rent on Amazon Prime.
I would imagine
so.
for a while.
Yeah, I
Disney Plus probably has it.
they don't. I think they have it yet, or unless they added it in the last week, and I haven't. I'm checking every morning, and I don't think. But you could be right. I don't know. But that's one that I was so close to going to see. I think even I went. Everybody was busy, so I was like, what, fuck it. I'm just gonna go see it myself. And then I think I put the order in, and then I got really tired, so I just refunded on Fandango. I was like, I'm not going. I just got my money back.
Just not having it.
Yeah, I purchased the ticket, and then I was like, I feel like shit. I'm not going to sit there in the theater and not feel good the whole time when I could just wait. So I really want to check it out because I love those movies. The first Toy Story, that was alongside Star Wars, one of those things that I binged so much when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So I have a massive respect for those movies, and at least critically. And like I said, I haven't seen the 4th one, but they're one of the rare instances where they keep adding to the franchise, but it's always good.
Yeah.
It seems to at least always hit a bar of quality that 4 movie franchises, 4 film franchises don't always have.
Yeah.
Especially and they take their time with them too. 3 was 2010?
Yeah, they don't stick to a release schedule. They just release them when they're ready to release it.
When they want to make more money.
Yeah,
and they make sure it's good too.
Yeah.
Cool. That's your number 5?
That was number 5.
Sweet. I want to give a dishonorable mention real quick.
Oh boy.
Before we get in
Cats.
to
The Last Jedi.
I'm still not over it. No, did not see Cats. Can't talk about Cats.
Nazi cats?
Did not see Cats. I heard it wasn't that great, believe it or not. Probably won't see it.
Looked horrendous.
Don't get paid to do that. So I want to give a dishonorable mention to The Lighthouse or Lighthouse. I don't know which. I don't know if there's a the or not. All these fucking does, man.
Pretty common word.
Yeah, I know, but in titles, never mind. It's a whole other topic.
Episode 7. The word the.
Yeah. I watched this with Leah a couple nights ago. It was available to rent on Amazon Prime. We did. I love the way the movie's shot, and it's had the same director and writer of The Witch,
Okay.
The Vavitch.
The Pavitch.
Yeah. So,
This is with Robert Pattinson, Willem Dafoe, right?
yep, Robert Pattinson, Willem Dafoe.
Our next Batman.
They're two
Willem
like light. They're two like lighthouse caretakers on this island, and then they kind of slip into insanity a bit because I don't want to get into spoilers really because I did not like the movie. Leah and I, neither of us liked it. It looks awesome. I love the way it's shot. I would love to see black and white movies shot in this aspect ratio, and like it's gorgeous. It was nominated, I believe, for best cinematography,
Okay.
which better go to 1917 or I'm rioting. It was confusing in a way where I thought, okay, because it does do the same thing that Robert Eggers did in The Witch, where it is spoken with not Old English, but like kind of a dialect and a way of speaking that is long past. Because
Yeah.
it takes place in 1890.
Okay.
And I think The Witch takes place in like late 1800s
Yeah.
too. So I had this like weird theory that maybe it's the same universe. I don't know. But I appreciate this guy, and I appreciate like the stories he's trying to tell. And I really liked The Witch. I really wish this one would have worked for me, but it just gets utterly confusing. And to finish my point that I didn't touch on, I think maybe if I were to watch it a second time with subtitles on, maybe that would help me a bit. But I didn't like it. It just wasn't
Fair enough.
enjoyable. Had some great performances, but that doesn't really mean much when you don't know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah.
So maybe it's too highbrow for me. But yeah, so I really wanted to like it, but I didn't. But my fifth favorite movie, I already know what it is, of 2019 is Avengers Endgame.
There you go.
I really, really like this movie. What, highest grossing film of all time? What is there to say? A lot of people liked it.
Yeah.
But I think, and I will say this, it was between this and Rise of Skywalker.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
Weird.
Yep. And I put Endgame on there because I think Endgame does a better job of tying together all of its films than Rise of Skywalker did. And I thoroughly, I walked out of Endgame being like, man, that was a really great way to do these films justice.
Yeah.
I walked out of Rise of Skywalker conflicted and torn and loving it and hating it. And then I saw it a second time and really enjoyed it. I don't really feel like it's, Rise of Skywalker is the end to a 9-film saga as much as I do a troubled trilogy, if you'll call it. But
A troubled jury.
yeah, I mean, I've only seen it the one time in theaters, but it stuck with me to the end of the year. I love all the stuff, and they go back in time. I love the stuff where Tony meets Howard. I love the stuff where Tony meets Howard. That sounds like a sitcom.
I forgot that was even a part of the movie. I
Yeah.
only saw it the one time in theaters.
Yeah, I love the time travel stuff. Like everyone, I knew for a fact when I went into this movie, and I'm not nearly as hardcore about Marvel as I am a property like Star Wars.
Yeah.
So with me, I kind of went in just like whatever fucking happens. Like I didn't care.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I wasn't like, God, this better be good or my soul is crushed.
Yeah.
So I went in with just, kind of really no expectations. I knew the runtime, but I had faith in, and I'll say this, like Anthony and Joe Russo are the best thing to happen to that series, period. Ever since Winter Soldier, every film they've done, they've upped the ante. Yes, Infinity War is better than Endgame.
Absolutely.
But I just think that, it did a great way it was a great way to tie all those films together, and it was emotional and it was powerful, and yeah, I guess you can call it fan servicey at the end there with all the people battling, but it's pretty fucking cool.
The payoff
Yeah.
after
so,
10 years.
Yeah. Pretty incredible. When I look back on that, I'm like, it's pretty incredible that they were even able to do something like this cinematically. When you really think about it. Like the level of care and the level of planning and the level of coordination and respect that they had for those characters and that franchise and how they built up the films from grassroots into this mega thing that everybody loves. Like that's the kind of care and attention to detail I would have loved Disney to pay to Star Wars.
Yeah, for sure.
And they didn't, at least not yet. So yeah, Avengers Endgame is my fifth favorite of the year.
Nice. My fourth favorite of the year, and I was kind of, honestly, with another viewing, these could be interchangeable. But my fourth, I actually have Rise of Skywalker on there.
Nice.
I was probably the most conflicted when we saw it. I don't want to harp on this because we have like 37 videos about this movie. But I was probably the most conflicted out of all of us when I saw it. And the second time, it all kind of clicked for me. And it kind of reassured my love for the characters that are in the movie. And even though it's a bit convoluted, a bit crazy, a bit whatever, still super enjoyable time. I still have a legitimate desire to go see it again. I would like to do the sequel trilogy like in a day if I have a chance to do that. But yeah, it's a good time. It's again, if you focus on the characters, they're finally like paid off properly, I feel. And yeah, I just really enjoyed it. So
Unless you're a Rose Tico fan.
yeah,
Which,
I'm sorry.
yeah.
But
That's for the best.
yeah, so number 4, I have Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
My number 4 was Avengers Endgame. It was an enjoyable movie. I enjoyed the fan service at the end when you got to see everybody. I agree, Infinity War is better. But I mean, Avengers Endgame, it's even with the runtime, like it had to cover a lot of stuff. I feel like everything was addressed properly. It was, it's a pretty enjoyable movie throughout. There's a couple times where I feel like it could have been a little bit shorter. There's a couple things that I feel like are drawn out a little too much.
How many times have you seen it?
Once or twice.
Yeah.
Not too often. But I mean, good movie. And just having having everything tied up at the end when you get to see like everyone back on the screen, like that was a really cool moment.
Yeah.
So you don't see a whole lot of movies do stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. My fourth favorite movie of the year is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I've had the chance to see this movie twice. I watched it in theaters, and then I saw it with Leah a couple weeks ago, I think. This movie hit me at the exact right time. It's one of those where when I saw it in theaters, I just kind of I was going through like some tough stuff mentally, and I just kind of wanted a break, and I wanted 2.5 hours to just kind of zone out and find that escapism. And that's what this movie is. It's like pure Hollywood escapism in terms of like, you're transported back to this time period. You're with these characters. It is so lovingly crafted in how it handles its setting. The performances are great. It's Quentin Tarantino's probably most tame film.
Right.
Like the violence doesn't really kick up till maybe like the ending sequence.
That's cool.
Because he's known for his over the top violence. But the dialogue is there. He's a genius at writing dialogue and writing banter back and forth between characters. There's a lot of cool things this movie does with how it puts these two fictional characters in a real time and setting. And then there's some controversial stuff with how that interacts with Sharon Tate and how she was, where she was at in her life at that moment. That's all I'll say about that. But yeah, I don't want to spoil it for you guys too if you haven't seen it. But
Yeah, I have not seen that.
But it is, it's a really powerful movie. It's pure escapism. It follows, this fictional actor, Rick Dalton, who's kind of like past his prime. It deals with themes of being a has-been and being washed up and feeling like you're past your glory days. And as we all get kind of a little bit older, I think we kind of appreciate that a little bit more, even though we're still in our 20s.
Very young.
But it, sometimes it can feel like that for certain aspects of your life, certain things that you tackle. So the movie does a really good job of just kind of addressing all these various themes while also being like a love letter to Hollywood and a love letter to the era. And the performances are great, and Brad Pitt's great in it. It's cool that he got nominated. Leo got nominated too. Kind of surprised because he's great in the movie. I didn't think I wasn't kind of blown back in my seat. But I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Leo, but yeah, it's an insanely fun film and a bit long, I would say.
How long is it?
I think 2 hours 40 something, 2 hours 43. Probably could have trimmed 20 minutes off and make it work, but yeah, insanely fun movie. If you guys have a chance, if it's streaming anywhere or whatever, it's a great way to kind of just turn your brain off and have a good time. And it takes its time. There are a lot of like really chill moments that help kind of paint the scene, I guess, or they help kind of just sell the atmosphere and tone and vibe of it. So I think it's a really mature film for Quentin Tarantino and a really fun time.
Very cool. No, I want to. That's one that slipped through my my conscious thought. Exactly my
Grasp.
Yeah, that's one of the ones I want to see for sure. For my number 3, not to just repeat what we've been talking about, I have Endgame. I only saw it the one time. Sadly, it was spoiled for me
Yeah, I remember that.
because I went onto the NFL's Instagram, and in the comments, it was like, Tony dies, Black Widow dies. And I was like, all right, well, I'm seeing it in like 4 hours, so that's tight.
Such shitty luck.
Yeah, but even with that, I still like it stuck with me. I only saw it the one time. I don't know if the runtime is more daunting at home or not.
That, I mean, I got to be honest. It's been on Disney Plus. That's kind of the one reason why I haven't committed to a second viewing. I'm like, it's 3 hours.
But
3 hours goes faster in a theater than it does in your living room.
oh yeah, for sure.
Especially
when
when
you
you're
don't have the
seeing it.
distractions, you don't have the option really to. But yeah, man. I mean, it's a story that's been built over 10 years. It was the payoff. This was a legitimately like really good payoff to what we've been building towards forever. The characters that we love and the scenes that we wanted to see them in. It just overall, it was all very, very, very well done. And
Right.
yeah, really good time. I want to watch it again. Infinity War, I think, still edges it out, but
Yeah.
I'll see like, even if I'm on Instagram or whatever, clips and stuff, and I'm still like, damn, that was like a really good time when we were in that theater. And
Yeah, I mean, that's, compare these movies to theme park rides. That's kind of how this one felt. But
oh yeah,
it was great. I loved it too.
yeah. So yeah,
My number 3, I'm not going to get into it too much just because it's a newer movie, so spoilers. It's also one I think you guys should go see is The Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, the Mr. Rogers movie. Mr. Rogers was a big part of my childhood, so it was
Me too,
cool
man.
to see a movie made about him. And it really like, I don't want to say it's depressing, but like the type of person that he was and like the message that he tried to convey to people, like we don't have anyone like that nowadays.
Yeah.
And the world kind of sucks right now.
Yeah, I think it's been better, probably. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, like somebody like him, I mean, just like the absolute good that he tried to do and the absolute good that he tried to see in everybody, like no matter how crappy of a person you might have been or how like negative you may have had like a view of the world, like he always tried to like get you to like try to see the bright side of things. I mean, I think it's a really important movie to see because of the message. And I mean, Tom Hanks is absolutely phenomenal.
one of
in
the
it.
best ever.
Yeah. I literally can't remember a Tom Hanks movie that I've seen that I was like, wow, that wasn't a very good, like he did not do well. Like
Yeah.
there are a few actors that I can say that like have never had a bad role. But it's a very good movie. I'm not going to get into spoilers. 'Cause like I said, it's newer and you guys should go see it, but
Yeah.
it's,
Again, one that I want to.
yeah,
That I just
it is a very powerful movie for something you may not have expected.
Yeah.
but the
One-
message is there.
Not to spoil it, I don't want you to spoil anything if you can talk about it without spoiling, but one thing that I found curious was Tom Hanks is nominated for Best Supporting Actor because the movie follows this journalist around, right?
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's kind of just like Mr.
Yeah.
Rogers is there as kind of like the,
Yeah, I mean the premise of the movie, and I think this is in the trailer, so I don't think it's necessarily a spoiler. I mean, the premise of the movie is this journalist who his job was to interview Mr. Rogers, and like originally it started like he was going to try to find dirt on this guy, and like as he dug into this guy's life, he realized that this guy is
dirtless.
yeah,
pretty much.
like all this guy does is good.
Yeah.
And he kind of realized like, wow, like I'm kind of a piece of shit. Like this guy who's almost a saint, like I'm trying to bring him down. Like, and it's just,
That's cool.
yeah, it's very good. I don't agree with him being a supporting actor because the movie still follows Mr. Rogers around like as a person. But considering the role that he plays versus the journalist, I mean, I would say that they're probably about equal. So I guess you could probably
Maybe that
argue-
was the Academy being like, lead role is pretty stacked, so let's put Tom in. Maybe he'll
He
edge out the
definitely-
competition a little.
Yeah, I mean and that's true. That's a good point. But I mean, you could argue it either way.
Yeah.
But, you know,
Awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah. Is it my turn?
It is.
number 3.
Oh yeah, okay. My number 3 is Marriage Story. I've talked about this movie briefly before, but yeah, I think I'll say it's like the best acted film of the year, probably, just in terms of when you look at everybody who's on this cast and how they tackle this dialogue. It's a lot like live theater in some of the ways it does its scenes, especially the fight, and it's just it's a powerful movie that deals with realistic themes and handles it in a mature, real way. And it talks about, people who love each other still that are going through a divorce.
Yeah.
And all the baggage and ugly shit. And if you've been in a relationship in your life that hasn't panned out, you'll start to understand some of it. And honestly, I encourage you to watch this movie with your significant other or others if you have them. It's just because it's just like a good. It's a good. I have to be inclusive. It's a good gut check moment.
Yeah.
It's a good It's a good if we don't communicate, if we don't, if we let things build up and resentment build and all these things, this isn't going to work. And the script is so damn good, and everything just feels there's the comedy's great. It's funny, the best performance from Adam Driver I've probably ever seen. Granted, I haven't seen all of his smaller films that he's done, but he's a powerhouse in it. Scarlett Johansson is so good. Everybody's good. I mean, and it's just, it's somber but hopeful, and it's a hard-hitting movie. It's not fun to watch, but if you appreciate just the craft of what it takes to make these kinds of movies, and if you appreciate the themes and the messages in there, it's a great movie, and it's on Netflix, so it's easily accessible, and I was really thrilled to see Adam get a nomination because he deserves it. He's absolutely powerful.
He's had
in this
quite
movie.
a year.
He really has.
Yep.
And it was funny. I was watching an interview. Not that I watch Adam Driver interviews in my free time, but I was watching an interview with him where he was like, it just kind of happens. You film these things years ago, and then they just all suddenly come out at the same time. And but he has had quite a year. I haven't seen The Report. That's the Amazon movie he has. I want to see it, but heard kind of lukewarm things about it. But I don't know. Maybe it's fun. But yeah. Marriage Story is a great movie. Definitely check it out if you haven't.
Dope. Number 2, I have a movie we watched about 3 hours ago, 1917. Even though we just watched it, technically it came out last year, so I'm including it. Really good movie. It was beautifully shot, beautifully paced, super intimate. It's a war story that's not Hollywood war. It's kind of... it takes place in 1917, obviously, so it's not modern, but yeah, it's just a really well-told story about two people just doing a mission, and the way it's shot, it's just kind of, it grabs you and then just kind of drags you with them, and it's probably one of the more stronger theater experiences, I would say, again, because how it was shot. It's not just kind of throwing some popcorn and watching a movie. It's very much just this is a journey and this is a story you're about to be a part of for a better part of 2+ hours. And yeah, I'm still, again, we just saw it a few hours ago, so it's still kind of in my mind and processing, but definitely a really strong showing by everyone involved. The whole cast is really good, even little cameos here and there. And yeah, just really, really strong, thought-provoking, really, it's weird to say enjoyable because it's not a fun ride.
Yeah.
But yeah, really, really well done movie. And I'm really glad I got to see it finally, because we were thinking we were going to see it earlier when it was coming out on Christmas. Didn't realize it was super limited. We finally got it. And yeah, really, 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 really good.
My number 2 is also 1917.
Me too.
There it is. All right. Well, if you want, just pause the video, check out our review. It's all of our thoughts, and we'll come back to it.
Like you said, it's a very well done movie, very well written. The one thing that I really liked about it, and I was really excited going into it, is when you think of a war movie, you think of World War II is done a lot. Depending on where you look, Netflix has a lot of like that like current conflicts. They have a lot of like the Osama bin Laden raid. They have
Yeah.
13 Hours.
Vietnam's been covered.
13 hours is kind of dope.
Yeah, it's very good.
I like 13 hours a lot.
I need to see it.
Vietnam was covered a lot like 15, 20 years ago. Not so much anymore. But I mean, all of these time periods have been covered. I mean, you have The Patriot for the Revolutionary War. You have movies like Glory that do the Civil War. There's not a whole lot of movies out there that do World War
Forgot about
One.
Glory. Jesus,
Glory's
that's a
a good
movie.
one.
That is a good movie.
Yeah. There's not a whole lot of movies out there that do World War One. And you know, we're all fairly big gamers here. It's cool to have something like that because like you don't get a whole lot of exposure because like video games don't do World War One. It's just like a lost time period when you think of battle, just because like it's always been overshadowed by World War II. And that's because I mean, living in the United States, I mean, we had a much bigger presence and a much bigger involvement in World War II than we did in World War One. But it was cool to have something like that. Like you said, the movie just kind of grabs you and you go. You're very involved. I bought a drink at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
I took my first sip when the credits rolled.
Yeah,
Like,
I had a bottle of water that I didn't crack open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was that gripping, and it was, you know, we talked about it a little bit in our review. It's nice that it's not like the guns blazing action movie. Like it's not these guys taking on the entire German army. I mean, it's, you know, these two guys that are human, like they're they're scared. They don't know like how this is going to turn out for them. You know, they're thinking we might fail this mission, but we have to try. So it's a very somber movie. It's enjoyable, but it's not meant to be fun. Like you're not meant to be leaving with the theater with a smile on your face. But definitely one that's worth seeing for sure.
I agree.
All right.
No, but I think you both touched on incredible points. It's my number 2 as well. One of the best war films I've ever seen, especially having seen it twice. Like I think it's up there for me. I think, I don't know, like they all kind of do something different, and I've been a sucker for them ever since I was a kid, just because they're fascinating when they're done right, and when they're done wrong, because it's such an incredibly delicate topic, you know, and how do you handle it while showing respect to those involved, and how do you handle it from, you know, and all of these movies have military advisors and stuff, and people who maybe have been in combat, been in war, been in some kind of conflict, and can kind of try to lend some sort of realism to it. But
This one's tough though. Not a whole.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be willing. I don't think there's anyone left from World War One.
I don't know.
I'm sure a few.
There-
but
2 people,
Even that, like you're pushing 120 years old now. I mean, that's
yeah, I guess that's true. If you're
very-
old enough to, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we're sad to say. I mean, we're running out of World War II veterans.
Yes, we are,
So,
But
go ahead.
yeah, no, I think the way that it doesn't, what's the word I was gonna? It's not romanticized.
Yeah.
It's not. There's not a part in this movie where you're like,
It doesn't glorify it.
yeah. There's such a reality to this movie where when things happen, I'm like, yep, that makes sense. Like, you know, spoilers, but we touched on that. When he gets stabbed by the pilot, yeah, fuck.
Yeah.
Should have just put him out of his misery. And Schofield says we got to put him out of his misery. And then the humanity of Blake comes out and he's like, no, he's fucking dying. He's hurt. He needs water. He's,
Gotta
you
try
know,
to save him.
yeah. And that's the beautiful part of it. It's like, it's a war movie with so much humanity. Like it's just, the human soul is all over this thing with the way it's crafted, the way it's made, the way you never leave these characters, the score. Yeah, there's not much else we've all touched on it, but it's a fantastic movie.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it.
I'm going to let you go because I'm pretty sure we have the same number 1. So we can just.
I think I know what your number 1 is. Not mine though.
All you.
My number 1 is Rise of Skywalker. It's a movie that I was incredibly excited for all year. I agree with you. It doesn't do the best in tying everything together. I'm placing a lot of that fault at the feet of Rian Johnson in Last Jedi
That's fair.
than the product that was put on screen for Rise of Skywalker. So I'm giving it a pass for that. there were a couple things that it did that were questionable, and I'm trying to take this as objectively as I can. And
Well, love isn't objective sometimes, so
Yeah.
you don't get too hung.
I also don't want to get too deep into it just because we have hammered Star Wars
Yeah.
so often. But
it's the dead horse in the corner. That
it really is, as much as I love it.
talk about it, man.
But yeah, it's a very good movie. Very well done, by everyone involved. I mean, Adam Driver is unbelievable as Kylo Ren. Daisy Ridley, great. John Boyega, great. I mean, it's not a whole. There's not a whole lot of like actual like complaints as far as the actual product on screen.
You can tell, like, with that movie that, like, regardless of how it played out or what you think of the writing, like, this is the best the cast has been.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
The performances are,
they're and you can tell like we were talking about like interviews like after shooting wrap, they were very proud of the product.
yeah, they at least you could tell they fucking had fun making it.
Yeah.
Which is such a huge part of these things that, when you like think about production on movies of this scale, and then you take it down to the micro level, like, you're still in your trailer every day. You still got to get ready. You still got to go get into costume, do makeup, whatever. Then you're sitting on set, and you still got to wait for them to set up the shot. And then they're long, tedious days. So to be able to still have fun on set, like, film is hurry up and wait. Like,
Yeah.
that's why a lot of actors prefer theater, because film is just screen work is just, you perform for, sometimes 7 or 8 minutes a day. When the rest.
And the rest of it is just waiting for
the shot to get set up, waiting for things to come back, waiting to see the daily, did we get this shot? Let's see the, so it's like, film and screen acting isn't always the most fun. And then you and I touched on this when we watched the Star Wars behind the scenes thing. They had the amount of work you have to do as an actor to block all of the exterior stimuli out and still maintain focus as the character, and still, you got to do all this stuff when, it always blew my mind too. It's like, you'll hear all these things, if there's a certain moment when they're in frame or they're coming up, they're dollying up to a character and they have to turn. You always see the director go like Daisy, or they'll like turn now, and then that's when they turn. It's like you have to work with all of these things and still bring it. Yeah. And with all these people around you, when you have every distraction known to man, especially on these big budget films. So anytime you think like a film performance is great, like, it's even that much better because of what those actors had to do in order to maintain focus. So yeah, Rise of Skywalker is a good movie.
Mm-hmm. Fan service at the end is one thing that I really think that like ties it all together really well. And you get Han Solo in there for a little bit. I mean, Carrie Fisher with Princess Leia, like, that was unbelievable, the way that they wrapped up her character. And then having all the Jedi, all the voices, you had Qui-Gon Jinn, you had Mace Windu, you had 2 Luke Skywalkers, you had 2 Obi-Wans. I mean, it was very cool.
You even had Mace Windu, you had Kanan Jarrus from Rebels, you had Ahsoka Tano from Clone Wars, if you're into that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I said Mace Windu.
Oh, did you?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
I think it was the first one I said.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah. No. Yeah, it's really good.
Mike and I shared a look when you said that.
Well, I guess I'm selective hearing. I'm sorry.
Mike, go ahead with your number 1.
I believe it will be our number 1.
Yeah.
I have Joker.
Yep.
Yeah.
Really? I was wrong.
Have you
I thought you were going to say Irishman.
I haven't seen The Irishman.
Fuck.
Did you just forget that it exists? All right, where are you putting it? I'll talk about Joker for a second, and then you. Have you seen Joker?
No.
Yeah. No, Joker is.
I need to see Joker.
I don't want to say it was a surprise.
Just seen it once.
Yeah. I don't want to say it was a surprise, because we kind of knew
I think it did a lot better than a lot of people were.
Oh no! I mean, it caught on way more than I thought it would. Just leading up to it, we knew that it was. I mean, it's a comic book character, so we assumed there was going to be some comic booky feel.
Yeah.
Although obviously the trailers show that it was like, but it was such a, not to be like super cliche, but they took the character of Joker and made a film, like, if not to be like artsy but just, I mean, it was nominated for 11 Academy Awards. So it's like Oscars, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah. I need to see it.
a lot like 1917. Everything kind of just the performances, the music, the cinematography.
It's not going to be what you're expecting.
Yeah.
Like anything you think it might be, it's probably not that.
That's fine.
And I won't go into spoilers, but anyone that has asked me like, oh, what's like the Joker movie? I'm like, it probably should have been called Arthur because his name's Arthur Fleck. Like that's the character in this version and it's literally just like you meet this guy who has had a terrible past and he's having a terrible present and it's turning into a terrible future, and what happens when society just doesn't treat him very well.
Yeah.
And it just turns and escalates. And I was taken aback at how different the movie was as I was watching it. And then it all clicked for me. And
The last 30 minutes, man,
Yeah.
are unbelievable.
And it's really just, again, like I was saying about, this is another kind of experience type movie where it's just like
Yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix did a phenomenal job.
He was nominated too.
Yes, he was nominated too.
My two favorite actors are nominated this year.
Yeah,
So weird.
just great. It still sticks in my mind. It's still relevant. I mean, I still see it all the time. They're still talking about it in the media. And
Yeah.
another one that I definitely want to see again. It just was, I'm pretty sure it just came out on
You could rent
Blu-ray
it
and
on-
everything.
Oh,
Yeah, but Blu-ray, I think it was Tuesday.
Last week, yeah.
Tuesday, yeah.
So, yeah, definitely. I think I got the most out of that film, movie, whatever, in the whole year. So that's why I'm putting it at the top. So
What
why
about-
is Irishman your favorite movie?
It's not. But if I had thought of it, I totally blanked on it. I knew I was forgetting something. I probably would have put it in place of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah.
I've seen it twice somehow, and I don't even know where to start with this thing. It's a
long.
I was
it's-
just talk about Joker.
it's long. It's a journey. You go on a journey with these characters, and it is quite long, but it's a brisk pace. You're moving. It doesn't really. There are quiet moments. I will say that the movie goes from being like good, if not great, to like pretty excellent because of how they choose to end it. And I don't want to spoil it, I guess, because you have not seen it, but. The emotions, like Leah was sobbing with
Well.
because it touches on. I know, but she like it touches on some really sad things at the end, and kind of reflects a bit about our society and how we treat those that are older than us, like those that are older. That's all I'll say. But I think it's a beautiful movie, and it's massively enjoyable. The de-aging for me was not an issue. Like after about 10 minutes, my brain just accepted it. There's a wonky shot or two maybe, but I was invested. I don't think it's like fantastic. It does at points seem a little self-indulgent because of the runtime.
Yeah.
But there is a
How
lot
much
of
narration is there?
quite a bit.
Yeah.
Quite a bit. And, that's a Martin Scorsese motif, if you will.
Good word choice.
Yep. Thank you, college. But yeah, I don't.
I would like to see it. It's just don't like.
It's 3.5 hours.
Yeah. I
mean,
mean, if I can break it, I remember Nick from Kind of Funny was saying some article out there has it almost broken perfectly into like 3 parts. If you wanted to choose to like watch a good chunk of it, take a breather, whatever, come back to it. There's like distinct breaks where you can like, which I might look into, but no, I mean, it obviously it has its praises. It's been nominated. It's something I'd like to see.
And it's really cool to see. It's Joe Pesci's best work since forever ago. I don't even know. He stopped acting for so long. And some
Home
people,
Alone?
Yeah, I know. Some people thought that he was going to have a bit of rust or something, but no, man. He's so not what you expect Joe Pesci to be in this role, and I think that's why everybody
pretty
was
cool.
like, "Whoa,"
Yeah.
because he's kind of the more calm.
I like when you can take actors that are not typecast, but kind of have like their thing, and they totally subvert it. That actually, one movie that I haven't seen that I really want to see is Uncut Gems with
Yeah.
Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
Because I heard he's phenomenal in it, and I'm not a huge Adam Sandler fan.
Me neither.
Especially the more recent Adam Sandler. He
Yeah.
just gets on my nerves. So, yeah, not to take away from what you're talking about, but
Irishman's real cool. I like it. If you can cut the time out, it's I would say it's definitely worth the watch. But yeah, my number one is also Joker. I've been lucky enough to see it 3 times now. Watched it with Leah a few nights ago. It's such an incredibly powerful movie from so many angles. If you look at the commentary that it shares about mental health, about the ramifications of childhood abuse, the ramifications of societal obstacles that people, who are less fortunate come against. And the thing about the movie is Joker is an unreliable narrator. You don't necessarily really know if everything in the movie that happens is happening as a fact.
you don't know if any of it's,
Yeah.
like, honestly.
And there's a point in the movie, never mind, sorry, you forgot you hadn't seen it yet. But it's a beautiful film, and it's incredible because it's like 2 hours.
Yeah.
And it feels like it's such a slow burn, I'd say. But this is typically when people say movies are slow burns, even someone like me who loves watching slower paced movies sometimes, I'm like, I roll my eyes because I'm like, oh, so it's just boring until the last 30 minutes. But this movie is legitimately, it ramps in intensity and the work done, like the work done by Joaquin and the work done by the cinematography and everybody behind the camera, in front of the camera is truly astounding. And it made Gotham a place, like, this is the first time in any movie that depicts this city where I finally understand the grudge, the
Terrible movie that came out that none of us.
yeah, where I finally understand the dirt and the grime that is this city.
Yeah.
Like, I want to see a Batman in this Gotham.
Yeah.
I want to see...
You won't, but...
Yeah, I know, I won't. But, like, I just... The tone and the atmosphere from the get-go is so clear. And the score... the score is just... It just seeps into the movie, into every frame. And it's just such a dark and dingy and hopeless look sometimes, and it's not easy to watch sometimes, but there's such clever things that they do throughout. And when that movie hits the finale and things ramp up and you see what happens to the titular character and how he kind of gets into who he is, incredibly riveting, but also while maintaining themes that are true to real life and things that you can kind of walk away from that movie. And it's funny because I saw it originally when I was kind of in a bit of a rougher place mentally earlier in the year. And so it just like spoke to me in a weird way. And there's been controversy after controversy that's been surrounding this movie. It glorifies violence. It's a dangerous movie to have out now with all of these, whatever. Yeah. But it's the most talked about film of the year. It's the highest grossing R-rated film of all time, which is nuts. And this is the way you do an origin story.
Yeah.
Like, I have a good feeling that we're going to get a sequel. And if they can find a story to tell where Joaquin comes back, like, just even think for a split second, his Joker up against any kind of superhero.
Yeah.
Or whatever this universe's interpretation of a Batman would be, right?
Yeah.
And you can't, like, not for a split second would I be like, damn it. Like,
I'm disappointed.
Well, not even that. It's like, imagine having like someone that you admire so much in this film. Like, imagine him being the bad guy, the supposed bad guy. Like, I don't know that we've ever, he's like the quintessential anti-hero. And like to have him maybe square off against, I don't know, this is how you do an origin story. This is how you rewrite the comic book genre. It's beautiful. I love it.
Boom. Drop mic. Drop it.
I don't want to do that.
That's fair.
So now we move on to our 5 anticipated.
Heck yeah.
I have 4.
Or our 4 anticipated.
4.5. I know that there's going to be movies coming out that
Yes.
will definitely pop up on the radar. I know I've checked the upcoming movies, but as it is right now, and even seeing trailers, when we just saw 1917, I guess it was yesterday now. The first one, I'm actually going to put The Invisible Man. It looks like it could go either way. I remember when I was younger, there was the Kevin Bacon version.
Was that a comedy?
No, it was.
Oh,
But I'm pretty sure it was Kevin Bacon. But really interesting premise. It looks like it could be pretty well done. I have a soft spot for horror movies. 8.5 times out of 10, I'm disappointed. But but there's still something about just the thriller, the horror. It evokes an emotion that you don't get most of the time when you see movies. So
The Devil Made Me Do It's coming.
yeah, I know. I had it as a. I love The Conjuring. The fact that
Has there been a trailer for that yet?
the fact that James Wan isn't directing definitely makes me like about it, because I think his direction was a big part of why the first two were as good as they were.
Yeah.
But yeah, The Invisible Man. Check out the trailers if you haven't. It just seems like it could be a pretty good horror thriller. And yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think the trailer looks pretty good. At the beginning, I was like, ugh. And then as the trailer goes on, it seems to tell you the whole movie. But yeah.
A lot of trailers do nowadays.
Oh, yeah.
But
Yeah.
What's your fourth most anticipated?
I didn't really have any specific order for these, so I'm just going to go down the list. Do you 007?
Yep.
I'm a big 007 fan. They haven't had a movie in a while, so it's cool to see. It's cool to see one coming back. So I'm excited to see how they do with it.
that trailer is pretty
Yeah.
I
pretty
don't want
awesome.
to talk about it yet, but yeah,
Yeah.
fucking great.
Go ahead, Mace.
Oh, my fifth most anticipated is Free Guy. I love video games, and this looks fun. I don't know. It could be stupid. It could be whatever. But Ryan Reynolds came out and said that he's really proud of the script, and he was like, and I got Deadpool made or whatever.
Yeah.
So he said it's incredibly funny, and I'm the one who got Deadpool made, or he said something along those lines. I'm paraphrasing, but it looks fun. It looks
He's
wacky.
great. He tends to Ryan Reynolds as Ryan Reynolds for the most part.
Yeah.
But The Rock is The Rock, and
Yeah,
you know,
and it's still enjoyable as all hell.
But Free Guy looks cool.
Yeah.
And I hope that it is.
It's on my list as well. It's a little higher. My number 4 spot, I Have No Time to Die. I didn't see
Spectre.
Spectre.
That's okay.
I know. I didn't see, Quantum of Solace as well?
That was his second Skyfall. Have you seen Skyfall?
I saw Casino Royale and Skyfall. So I haven't seen Quantum of Solace and Spectre. So I know that was like during the writing strike or whatever. So
Yeah.
I heard it's
the action in that movie is really nice.
pretty
but Yeah.
So I'll probably do a run through leading up to it, because I loved Casino Royale and Skyfall. So, and not to talk trailers, but the trailer's pretty dope. So
Oh, you can talk about it. It's fucking phenomenal.
yeah. So yeah, really looking forward to that.
My next one is The Call of the Wild. We saw the trailer for it today during 1970. I think it's in the trailer for Star Wars as well.
Maybe. I thought
Could
that was
be,
the
I
first thing I saw. There's like a different Wolf movie thing with Willem Dafoe. Or is
Yeah.
that
I don't know if it's on the phone.
it's called like Togo or something?
Yeah, Togo.
I don't know.
I think that's a Disney
Anyways,
property.
Call of the Wild looks very good.
Why is the dog CG though?
Yeah.
It's the one thing that I was
Yeah.
like,
I think it was like this dog has to do incredibly ridiculous things. Let's not even try to get a real dog to do all this stuff. It might be because you have to put the dog in so much danger.
yeah.
That's a good point. But yeah, Harrison Ford. I mean, it's when I think of Harrison Ford, I mean, I think of like Indiana Jones. I think of Han Solo, like the badass guy. He's can do everything. It's cool that it seems like that you're going to see a very intimate and personal version of what he can do. So I'm very excited to see that.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I love that he's still making movies, man.
Yeah.
He's one in a generation.
Yeah.
What's my number 4? The Christopher Nolan film Tenet. Looks great. Looks like a Chris Nolan flick. Nothing's gonna fucking make sense. Watch it 8 times, dissect it, analyze it. Score is gonna be incredible. Obviously gonna be done by Hans Zimmer.
Man.
Yeah, no,
That's all
yeah.
I need.
It looks great, and I like John David Washington. I need to see Black Klansman. It's on my backlog.
Oh shit.
But
I've
he's
heard really good things.
he's the lead in that, and Adam Driver's in that one too. So it looks great. The trailer looks cool. It looks like he's fucking with time again. So, yep, can't wait. I'm sure it'll be good in some circles. Oh, quick go around the table. Favorite Chris Nolan film?
I mean, The Dark Knight's up there for sure, but that's almost kind of like its own thing because it's like a like you have Christopher Nolan films, and then it's like Batman's a property, so it's like.
But it wouldn't be what it is without him. So
Probably the most. It's tough. I really love most of his movies. I think Interstellar probably evokes the most emotion out of me. I remember really liking Inception was cool. I think I only saw it like 1 or 2 times. I'd probably say Interstellar. I think that's the one I went back to the most. Mm-hmm. And I kind of get a little something new out of the visuals alone are just like mind blowing. And the story, yeah, it gets a little wonky, but for how
not too wonky.
For as out there as it is, they do a really good job.
Yeah,
so
mine's Interstellar, hands down. That was one of the best theater experiences I've ever had.
I'm so mad. I actually didn't see it in theaters.
Yeah, hands down. I love that movie. I could watch it every day. It scratches that weird, crazy like space discovery itch.
Yeah.
Where you're just like in the void of nothingness with just nothing but discovery. I just love it. Do you know? Do you know? Do you have a favorite Chris Nolan film?
I would say Dark Knight. I've never seen Interstellar though, so
You should.
sounds like it's one that I need to watch.
That was definitely
is awesome.
Yeah, Dark Knight though, it's phenomenal.
Yeah,
it's great.
Marissa and I somewhat recently watched the Dark Knight trilogy.
Yeah,
After not watching them for a while, and I was like, damn. I was like, these.
they're
I was
all
like,
3 of them are solid.
Yeah.
I want to say this too, talking about Dark Knight and how good Joker is. Not once in all 3 times of watching that movie did I ever think to compare Joaquin's Joker to any others.
Yeah. No, 100%. You don't even think about Heath Ledger being a thing, which is surprising because it's
so weird.
Yeah. It's just so different that it's like you almost don't even see them as like the same character.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, wanted to take a little bit of a detour there.
all right.
No, you're fine.
You're up, Mike.
I have Free Guy in my number 3 spot. It looks like
3?
yeah,
Yes.
What was your 4? Sorry.
No Time to Die.
Okay, right, okay.
Number 3, I have Free Guy. It just looks like a bunch of dumb fun, which sometimes that's all you need. Like I said, Ryan Reynolds is Ryan Reynolds. It looks like Deadpool meets video game and
GTA.
Yeah, meets GTA. It just looks like.
Have you seen the trailer for it?
No, you should check it out. It just looks like a bunch of dumb, goofy adult fun and looks really good.
My number 3 is Mulan.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That is not by far because I ain't like Lion King's close, but like I would put Mulan as my favorite Disney movie.
Really?
I understand that it's not going to be an exact replica of the cartoon, the animated one.
Which I think is probably the right move.
Yeah. The only thing, like a lot of like the music and stuff that made Mulan what it is, they're not going to have in this one. So I think that's a risk that could pay off in either direction.
Because they broke out into song in the original, right? It was
Yes.
like a musical almost.
Yes.
And there's no singing in the live action?
There's a little bit, but not very little.
The trailer I really liked.
Yes.
I like the trailer a lot.
Yes.
I know you were kind of indifferent on it,
I am, yeah, I don't know.
but yeah.
I think, like I said, I think that's a risk because there's a lot of people that like Mulan because of the music in it. But I still think it'll be a good movie.
I think it looks really good. That probably should be on my list. I think I saw Mulan once. Like I couldn't tell you any story beats.
I watched Mulan 3 or 4 days ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I definitely.
Within the last week.
Yeah, but I saw the trailer and I was like, this looks pretty good.
Yeah.
So yeah, that should probably. I'll put that at a number 5.5 spot.
Okay. Your honorable mention.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, what is my? Oh yeah, number 3 for me is Wonder Woman 1984. I think the Wonder Woman film, if you don't count Joker, which I don't think you can really, it's not necessarily part of that universe. Wonder Woman, I think, is the best movie that they've made, slightly above Man of Steel.
Really?
I think so. Yeah.
I think the third act gets a bit.
Yeah,
Be.
it does. But I remember I think I actually cried at the end of that,
Really?
which was real weird.
No, it's Wonder Woman's great.
Yeah, I loved the first one. Patty Jenkins is back, directed the second one. I love the setting. I I don't necessarily know how Chris Pine is,
I know. That's when I saw
Back.
the trailer, I was like, I don't know what this is gonna be, but I guess we'll see.
but it could be rough. It could be great. But I'm looking forward to it, having thoroughly enjoyed Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
And you know who hasn't seen Wonder Woman? Leah.
I
Believe it or
know.
not.
Yeah, no, we've talked about this before.
the ultimate
Like,
woman empowerment.
Yeah, like if there's a movie that you need to see, it's Wonder
But
Woman.
like she was in World War One. Did you see it?
Wonder Woman.
Yeah, Wonder Woman. I'm sorry. No, but she gets up and out. She's like gets out of a trench into
Yeah.
no man's land, and she starts fighting. It's a really great sequence. But yeah, and Gal Gadot. I don't know.
Dot dote.
Questionably the most attractive woman on the planet. Not that that has
Marissa.
anything to do with
Yeah,
it.
it doesn't. Marissa's like, I don't see it. And I'm like, well, you don't
What?
have to. Yeah, I know. Yeah, she's especially
She's really talented.
Yeah.
Like incredible. Like she does the
especially
action.
where she's come from
Yeah.
too, because she was kind of just like,
the eye candy in Fast and Furious.
yeah, I know. She's like, yeah, no, even in Justice League, like it's a fine movie, but like, no, her as Wonder Woman, I've liked in every iteration. So no, I'm excited about that one too.
Yeah, she's a powerhouse.
No. Number dos, I have A Quiet Place 2, Part 2. I'm surprised that you didn't actually like realize you were like, this looks like A Quiet Place. I was like, guys, it's the second one. But no, it looks, I'm a little cautious on it because it could totally be like, first one was a horror movie, Aliens 2. This is an action movie. And it could be like
I didn't get that though from the trailer personally.
not so much. I just know it can happen.
Yeah.
Especially, I mean, spoilers for the end of A Quiet Place, the first one. She literally pumps a shotgun, and that's like, and I'm like, all right. So but I loved the first one, and the second one should be really, really cool. The trailer's great, and I want to see what these characters have. I realized that it was Cillian Murphy, which is really cool because I like him a lot.
He's phenomenal.
Yeah,
I need to watch Peaky Blinders.
yeah.
That's like his thing.
Yeah. But yeah. No, I'm definitely one of my most anticipated movies, and that's why it's on the list.
My fourth one, and I don't have five, so this will be my last one.
It's all right, man.
This was one that like I was interested in seeing it, but up until they kind of went through like in the previews before seeing 1917 tonight is the new Top Gun.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that all of the actors were actually in the fighter jets, like actually experiencing like the stress that it puts on your body.
When you make a movie with Tom Cruise,
You got yeah, you're signing up for
So I think that's really cool, and I'm very interested to see like how all of that comes together because like all like the cameras and the technology that they said they had inside these planes, I think that's going to be really cool because it's been 35 years since Top Gun. Was it in mid 80s?
It's been a while.
Yeah, long time.
Zone.
Yeah, long time since there's been a Top Gun movie. So obviously, filming technology has come leaps and bounds, but I mean aircraft technology as well. So yeah, but yeah, I'm very very excited to see.
Yeah. No,
see
the
what it
little
does.
featurette that we got before
Yeah.
1917 got me a little pumped on it. I haven't seen
Yeah.
the original,
yeah.
so I don't know how crucial it is that I do.
It's a good movie. I mean, on its own. I don't know how much of a story, like a connection of the story there is, but it's worth a watch. I
Yeah.
would say.
The only worry that I have about Top Gun Maverick is that it will be weak script, awesome action.
Yeah.
Because that's the vibe I get from it.
But I mean, movies. I mean, some movies like that, those are the ones that you watch it a couple times because it's fun. It's not one
Yeah.
that's really like memorable, but it's still.
I mean,
Like-
Free Guy. That's probably not going to be the most.
I know, but
written.
it's probably a comedy, so
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
different. You know, I don't know. Like, I love all the MI movies because they have a pretty solid action plot underneath.
Yeah, for
but
sure.
again, they're all just kind of a reason to blow shit up and have insane
have your set
stunts.
pieces.
Yeah. My number 2 most anticipated is Quiet Place Part 2 as well.
Yeah.
It's so funny because in the trailers you can see the influences from like The Last of Us,
It definitely, that
Yeah.
whole sequence seems to be influenced for sure.
which I think is cool. The whole movie kind of has that vibe to it, or the whole trailer, I'm sorry, seems like it kind of has that vibe and those influences. Cillian Murphy is kind of like the Bill. We could go to Bill's Town and
yeah.
the dude who helps you get the truck battery or something. But there's like It looks great though, and the trailer opens up with the whole day one thing, so you're going to see the outbreak or whatever you want to call it, the invasion. Who fucking knows? And then one line that I love is when they're backing up or they're flying past, and the kid's like, "There's dad, there's dad, there's dad." So we're gonna we'll probably get some John Krasinski in there for a bit. But it's cool to see him back directing. It's cool to see because The Quiet Place is a great movie. Like, I need to see it again. I've still just seen it the one time.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I'd like to see it a
I
second
think I've seen
time.
it 2 or 3 times.
Is it on a streaming service?
Yeah, I think so.
Netflix, maybe?
I think so. I mean, I have it on Blu-ray, which is why I've seen it.
Okay. I might just have to borrow it then. But yeah, no, that movie looks pretty cool.
Yeah. My most anticipated, as of this moment, is actually Tenet. Mostly because it's just Christopher Nolan, and almost everything he's done has been at least pretty damn good. And the trailer just, I like to think when I watch movies, I like movies that invoke a thought process that can have you kind of confused in the middle, most of the time give you really good payoff. He's always done that very, very well. I like to see time manipulated. Memento is one of the best at that. Yeah, it looks like the action's going to be there. It looks like the hard to keep up with story that will eventually probably pay off in the end will be there.
At least kind of.
Yeah. It will be a Christopher Nolan movie. Take that as you will. It seems like it's going to be a really, really, really good time. And we've heard about him doing another movie for the longest time. And then I think the trailer came with Star Wars. Like, I think that was the first time it was.
Yeah.
So going to see Star Wars and then that popped up, I was like, damn, let's go.
It's about time for another one of these.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm ready to ride that Christopher Nolan train. Let's do it.
Yeah. My most anticipated movie is No Time to Die, by far. I have been an avid fan of James Bond ever since I was a kid. We had I was in kindergarten, and we had it was around Halloween. You were allowed to wear your Halloween costume to class, and you got to share like a story. I don't know, you could share your costume with everybody, and I got up in front of the class. I went as James Bond.
That's awesome.
But I went as like a kitted out James Bond. I had like a pack that had like, I remember Matt helped me with it. I remember it clear as day. But I've loved those movies. One of those things that my dad showed me at a really young age, and like,
Spies are cool, man.
yeah, spies are real cool.
It's really that simple.
I'm not gonna sit back and say like it taught me to be a misogynist or anything, but like, it taught me, charisma and be confident and tackle whatever. I don't know. Well, who knows what the fuck it taught me? But they're incredibly fun, and I think that they, it's the longest running film franchise ever. First one came out in '62.
That's mind-blowing.
And they're still going. And I think with the Craig era too, one Brosnan film I think is quite strong, which is GoldenEye, and then the rest are kind of dumb fun. And that's what Bond tends to do is, I think Casino Royale, that's my personal favorite of all time.
Really good.
It's such a good damn movie. It's a great origin story for 007, and they've tried a lot of really admirable kind of ambitious things with the Craig era, with being the first era of Bond films to have a continuous storyline. Like they all technically are connected, and they're still doing that. This is his 5th. So they're all technically one narrative through line. And Spectre was quite disappointing, especially the third act of that movie. It's a mess in terms of the writing. But there's still a lot of good action in that movie. Like there's a fight scene on a train with Batista that is fucking great. And Sam Mendes directed that and Skyfall. And Skyfall is like, I still like Casino Royale more, but Skyfall is like a film.
Yeah,
like it's you get that vibe from it. And I love James Bond. It's like Star Wars and James Bond were the 2 things I was raised on. So I cannot wait for No Time to Die. The trailer does look really good. The stunt work looks phenomenal. The shot selection. Rami Malek could be real cool. And they're incorporating elements from the prior films. Like, how do you say her name? Léa Seydoux or something? The blonde girl who is back in it. She was was from Spectre, if I remember correctly. And man, it comes out right around my birthday. So
Happy birthday to you.
Perfect, man. I hope it's great, but we'll see. Because Craig is probably my favorite Bond.
Yeah. I think he.
Like, and I hate to do that just for like he's the most modern and has probably the best films, so he's the best. But he embodies the character perfectly, perfectly, and he's also had the opportunity to embody the character at different stages of the character's life, which is really not something that any of the other Bond interpretations or any of the other actors ever even had the chance to do. Because you've got the Casino Royale Bond, who's like young and fucking bullheaded, and he's proving himself, and he just became a 00. And then you have, you know, the middle ground there. Then you have Skyfall, where he's old and shot in the fucking shoulder, and he can't even pass his PT tests. And then you have whatever No Time to Die is going to offer us. So there's a couple shots in that movie when he's going down that tunnel and just sprays a dude with the SMG. Yeah. You're like, ooh. But yeah, No Time to Die. Hopefully it's good.
Yeah.
Those are our most anticipated, right?
Yeah.
Let me try that again. Most anticipated.
Anticipated. Use your words.
Yeah. But yeah, those were our favorite films of 2019 and our most anticipated of 2020.
Need to get out in the theaters more.
Yeah, that's going to be one thing that I'm sure we'll all make a vow to do that this year, especially now that we're doing this.
Yeah.
But we're going to try and cover as much stuff as we can, but we're not really a news channel, so we'll bring you as much interesting hot takes as we can moving into the year 2020. But maybe, well, no. I'm going to try and see a couple more of these Oscar-nominated films before February 9th, I think, is when they are. So I want to see Little Women, and I want to see
Parasite.
Parasite, yes. I think that becomes available to rent on Amazon tomorrow.
Awesome.
As of this recording. So thank you so much for joining us and sticking to the end if you did. We really do appreciate it. I'm Mason.
Mike.
And Taylor.
Take care, everybody.